Seltzertime, meatballs!
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the seltzertime podcast. It's your boy Ricky, aka Dick Chuck, aka Travis is actually the man behind the can right now at seltzertime official. Here is always with my conversation accomplice, the man with the hunch about Worcester, Travis.
What is crackin' Fizzle Fiends? Welcome back to another Seltzertime podcast. And as always, we are so glad you're with us. Another episode of I knew that sounded weird. I got seltzer in my eye after I opened the can, so it just threw me the whole thing off. This week on the show, we are talking to our friend Tim Garvin, President and CEO of United Way of Central Massachusetts. But before we get there, y'all know what we have to do. Hey, Ricky, looking good in that house of yours.
What up, dog? Yes.
Congratulations on getting in.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we're officially in and not hopefully ever going anywhere ever again.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, right. No, so we're finally in the house. Everything's dope. Got to watch the Celtics lose and get knocked out of the playoffs last night from the living room, which kind of sucks, but what are you gonna do? You know,
at least you were in the comfort of your own home.
This is true. Yeah. Other than that, just like hanging, just a whole lot of hanging, a lot of moving, a lot of putting things away.
That both stresses me out, but it's also exciting. Like trying to find things, like places for things, that's exciting. You get to figure things out, but at the same time, oh my God, I have all this stuff that needs to go places.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. Like looking at our garage right now, it's kind of it's very intimidating. But yeah, I mean, just between life being busy and work and all that stuff, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll all be good.
That's how we
all
do.
Gravy.
That's how we do here in Worcester.
Dude, speaking of Worcester, I got to go to Shasu Ramen.
How was that?
Like, to say that the game has been changed is just beyond an understatement. I can't explain how cool that place is.
I mean, I loved the shot. You took a shot of every meal, every bowl that you got served.
We weren't going to go anywhere and sit down inside just because there's two places that I would do that. And it's New Tradition and Redemption Rock. Other than that, I'm like, I don't know. I'm still definitely down to get takeout and stuff like that. But it just kind of happened. Brendan had a reservation that everybody kind of fell through on. So he was like, I have this if you guys want to go. We were like, well, we'll see. So we figured we'd go in, and if it was a little too much, then we probably would have left. But it's incredible. Everybody, they check your temperature as you walk in. There's these really cool sanitizer mister things that have little blue light there. Dude, you don't know that you're in Worcester. It felt like I was in New York City the entire time that we were in there. The bathrooms, the way the place is decorated, for the first time in any of our lives, Brendan, Naomi, or me, we've eaten at pretty much everywhere you can eat at. The first thing that the waitress asked us was, would you guys like water for the table? And we're like, oh yeah, sure. And she's like, flat or sparkling? And we were like, what? That's not a Worcester question. It was unbelievable.
Did you go with flat or sparkling?
We went with flat.
Understood.
But it was and even the vessel that the water is in and the way they pour it, and just these that attention to detail it's unbelievably impressive. Food, everything that the three of us got was incredible. We got a edamame that I didn't know you could make edamame taste this good. I like edamame a lot, but I didn't know that you could like turn it into what we had. It had so much flavor. It was unbelievable. And then I got this chicken appetizer and I was like, oh, cool. It's like a little like fried chicken. It kind of looked like popcorn chicken.
Okay.
But they put it down and I'm like, oh, dope. Like this looks awesome. And it had like pickled radishes on the side. And it was in this sauce. So I take my first bite and my mind was blown at like how good and juicy and perfect this chicken was. Calling it popcorn chicken is not the right term.
It's almost offensive.
It is, because it's so much better than that. But like, that's like the easiest way for me to explain it.
Sure.
But the sauce it was in, again, not even close to the right thing, but like it was basically the Chick-fil-A sauce. Like the only good thing about Chick-fil-A is the Chick-fil-A sauce. And somehow they made a sauce that's way better, but like kind of reminds me of that. I could have eaten 5,000 pieces of this stuff. It was unbelievably good. And then I got a miso. What did I get? Like miso pork. Was it miso pork? I don't remember. I got some kind of like semi-spicy ramen and it was delicious. And then we got this cool like burnt caramel custard dessert. You
all had yourself some meal.
Dude, we had some fun. It was so good. I had this like really good bourbon drink. My first drink was a mezcal drink, obviously. It's like
nice.
Mezcal and ginger and something else. And then the bourbon drink was orange infused bourbon with a bunch of other stuff. It was everything was so good. So I can't say enough. Amazing.
You're definitely
things.
Making me hungry. And dude, as somebody that's into fried chicken, I definitely got to go try this.
It's the best place. You literally like you sit there. So we sat like in the back. They have like the open kitchen concept, kind of like Dead Horse with like the window. And the whole place is black inside with like this really impressive gold trim. The lights are all super cool. The bar is beautiful. And there's 2 murals. There's one on either side of the bar. But they're not like the oh, here's this black room restaurant. And then boom, here's this like blast of color coming towards you. It's not like that. Like they fit so perfectly. And I'm just sitting there like looking around before we even got anything. I was like, I felt like I was on vacation.
Okay.
Like I really thought that we were like
in a different place.
In a completely different place. It was kind of wild to like leave that experience that was so unbelievably amazing. And then you walk outside and you're like at the Common. It made no sense at all, but it was like such a cool feeling. I can't wait for like, when things make a little more sense to just have another night and be like, cool, you can bounce now to like, from like Armsby to Dead Horse down to Shasu. And then like, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a cool thing. Yeah. I can't believe that space even exists in the city. It's mind blowing.
I'm glad to see it's finally open. I'm glad to see everybody's liking it as much as they are. I haven't had the opportunity to go try it, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about them.
Yeah, it's impressive. How was your week?
My week was good, man. I worked till Wednesday and then I took some time off. I went down to Connecticut. Oh, yeah, oddly enough, I'd never take time off really. Well, Jess Walsh again put it pretty well that I don't eat if I don't hunt kind of deal. So if I don't work, I don't get paid. So I got to work. And
that's a really good point.
I spent some time kind of catching myself up and then falling behind, but regardless. And I went home, I went to Connecticut and I hung out with Matt Rockwell, my best friend in the world. I love that dude. And I got to spend some time with his family. He has 2 kids, Bradley and Natalie. Natalie came first. That are just, they're adorable. They're the freaking best. And they put that poor kid through the ringer. Like at the end of the day, how he doesn't just collapse onto the floor and go to sleep right after they do. I give him and his wife, Christy, all the credit in the world. And
that's awesome.
Of all my friends, a lot of my friends are parents now and like they all do it well. But to me, Matt and Christy are the ones that are doing it like the tightest as a group or as like as a unit where they really like they play off each other's strengths and together they're parenting these kids. And it's super special to watch. It's just really heartwarming and they're raising 2 very cool kids.
That's
and then
awesome.
we got to go out to the woods, Patchogue State Forest. Matt and I have some college friends and some high school friends for whatever. Stayed out in the woods in a lean-to. I slept under the stars, listened to coyotes howling around midnight, 1 a.m. Like, and amidst all this other crap going on and all this time spent on computers and staring at screens, it was amazing to just leave all this stuff here and then go escape to the woods for 24 hours. Like, if I didn't put it on my pack, I wasn't going to have it. I had to walk out. Granted, it's probably only like quarter mile to the campsite, but still, if I didn't have it, it wasn't on me. I cooked on the fire. We all just kind of sat around. Awesome. Oh, it was wonderful. It helped me refine my center, which is drastically what I needed.
Yeah.
And then cool stuff for people that were listening last week that are listening, all the cool stuff I could tease but not talk about. Sean Connolly's album art came out. Go check out that when it drops. I think it's dropping in a couple weeks. I ended up doing a t-shirt design for him because he gave me a preview of the album, which I was there. I was there in the room. I could hear my stupid freaking cackle laugh at one point, but the whatever line he said that got the cackle laugh made me laugh in my office sitting by myself. But that was awesome. My point. Like, I had heard all these jokes before. I was there in the room. I still by myself in the office laughed out loud, and it was fun. So I'm so excited for people to hear that. Sean put in a lot of hard effort.
Oh yeah.
Sick. Well, without any further ado, let's kick it over to us and Tim, because we spent an awesome time talking to Tim, learning about all the cool stuff that United Way, he and lots of other people are doing for our city.
And his first time seeing Bruce Springsteen.
Duh.
Had to talk about it. Take it away, us and Tim.
Hey guys, this week on the show, we are talking to Tim Garvin, President and CEO of United Way of Central Massachusetts. Tim, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Now, you're thanking me, and it's the exact opposite. I'm thanking you for giving a platform not only to the work that the United Way does, but what you've done ever since you started is you truly are lifting up lives, and you're amplifying all that's good in the city. And our entire city, one, should be listening, and two, should be thankful. So I appreciate the opportunity.
You're too kind. I mean, we're all in this together, and we're all working towards a common goal of just being the best damn city we can be. So it takes teamwork.
And we are. And is there a better name for a podcast than Seltzer Time? Because how perfect is that? How perfect is that for being so Worcester? And yes, as I've shown you, I do have here
I think it's time.
One of my favorite companies, a company that probably could have moved anywhere in the country, but they have stayed Worcester. They run an amazing United Way campaign. They donate product to every big event that we have. And I don't want, they're just a great company. And everyone from the owner and the management to the bottlers to the truck drivers, every single person I've ever met that works for Polar is friendly and kind and caring. It's a great company.
That's awesome. Everybody I've ever met there has been absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Now, and of course, we love their products, so.
We do. I have taken a great yearning to their old style bottled homemade root beer, which is not nearly as healthy for you as this. But my gosh, it sure tastes good.
It's a nice sweet treat every once in a while.
I'm not a big soda guy, but every once in a while I'll pick up the Polar cream soda, and I drink that all the time. It's so good.
Well, and so here we are in September. We have it's like 71 outside. So we're still in the end of summer, even though, the equinox hit. But when you mention their cream soda or their root beer, that with a scoop of vanilla ice cream in is like, some people on Friday nights might go out for martinis. I'll go for the ice cream soda. That's just
heck
me.
Yeah. Same here, Tim.
Smart move.
Yeah. Give me a nice big frosty mug. Oh, something that's been sitting in the freezer for a while.
I'm thinking we have to do this quickly. I want to get home and have an ice cream soda now. It's all good.
Well, Tim, I mean, we can literally talk about anything that you've had your fingers in, because between you and the United Way, there are so many people around the city that are thankful. But for those that aren't unfamiliar with the mission of United Way, what is the work? Can you kind of summarize it quickly?
So, I've been here for 14 years, and our United Way is 100 years old this year. And in fact, I brought our first book that is literally signed by the people who started us for this podcast. But when I got here, which is really cool. When I got here, we had a mission statement that was about 48 words long. And I'll admit, you want to be able to, you want to be able to whip it off. And so one night, with 3 board members and 3 staff members, we went to Bocado. We had some great tapas because, again, this is Worcester and the diversity of Worcester. And we crafted a mission statement that I think is elegant and simple. Our job is to connect people and resources to improve the community. So I can stand in front of 500 kids in 7th grade and say that and say, so what are we trying to do? And they will shout back, improve the community. Exactly. How are we doing it? Connecting people and resources. So even being on Seltzer Time and talking about the United Way is going to potentially connect people with what we're doing so that they can either become volunteers or donors, or if they're in need, find ways to connect so that it makes our community stronger. So you guys are part of our mission, and you didn't even know it.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah, we had no idea.
It's great. Yeah, well, so yeah, and I haven't asked you for money yet, but you haven't asked me for money yet, so that's fine. It's working great.
Fundraising forever.
So but a little bit more. So then after we did that, we put some structure and depth to it. And I will admit, when you talk about strategic planning, that can be a death phrase because sometimes you just want to do the work. But we did really great strategic planning with partner agencies, with donors, with recipients, end users, as we call them, with community leaders, with our elected officials. And we came up, and I'm very fortunate. My wife and I are blessed. We have 3 kids. And not that we had a strategic plan. Please don't misunderstand me. But the same things that we hope for our kids is what we came up with for what we're trying to do for the community. We want to provide great opportunity in education. Same thing I want to provide to my kids, or that our parents provided to us. Yeah. We want to provide health so that everybody has access and everybody can be healthy so that they can use those opportunities. And we wanted to provide financial or family stability. And that doesn't mean, you need 2 parents. It can mean there are caring adults in your life who help give you those opportunities and provide the stability so you don't feel you're in this alone. And that's our strategic plan. And then we go out, we fundraise. We ask, the old-fashioned way. We ask people, our sales product is a healthy community, is a better community. And we ask people to donate to that. And then we go through a very rigorous process where people apply for grants and we rate them, and then we grant money out. And it goes to amazing places that have been here for forever, and places that are new and emerging, places that are similar to us. Friendly House is celebrating its 100th anniversary. If you've never been to Friendly House and you want to see Worcester at its best, it just captures what's great about our city, people helping people. Girls Inc., I believe, is 106 years old. The YWCA, the YMCA, Worcester Youth Center, or emerging places like Main Idea and Powwow Worcester and Project New Hope and Hotel Grace. That's what our work is. And it feels really good. Now, if I can go on for just 1 more minute.
Please, you keep going. You have the floor, my friend.
I'm Irish, so 1 minute, if I've gone on for 5, just.
This is your podcast.
So we were planning this year to be our celebration of 100 years. And literally, we worked with Bill Wallace, the amazing Bill Wallace at the Worcester Historical Museum.
He's the best.
And so this is a shout out. It's open again. The Harvey Ball is coming up. Go online and see who they are. Go and visit. Find history
Friday,
about our
isn't it?
city.
Yeah.
We were planning to do an exhibit that was going to open on St. Patrick's Day night. And of course, that's March 17th. And the first cases of COVID-19 hit Massachusetts on or around March 9th or March 10th. So I still have, that's why I have our 100, that's why I have this really cool Olympic torch that a Worcesterite, a volunteer of the United Way, ran through the streets of Worcester on the way, not that they did it themselves, but passed it on and on and on, and made its way down to the Atlanta Olympics of 1996. But anyway,
awesome.
COVID-19.
That's so cool.
That's so cool.
You showed me that before we started.
Yeah, you'll have to, when we're allowed to, you have to come over. We'll have some seltzer, and we'll
do it.
Play with
Is it heavy? I just want to know if it looks heavy.
It's got heft. This must be oak, and this is ribbed. I don't know what. And then if you look, that's where the torch actually inserted, so that you could run, and it was burning.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And then it's got an inscription on it of all the cities in all the years. Paris, 1900. Antwerp, St. Louis, 1904. London, 1942. Helsinki, 1952. It's a really cool piece.
That's
so
very
we're
cool.
going to have this great exhibit with artifacts and history, and that didn't happen because COVID-19 came. And in some weird way, it became, like Charles Dickens, it was the worst of times and it was the best of times. It allowed us to say, what's our work to improve the community? How can we help? And so we ended up partnering with the Greater Worcester Community Foundation. We created the Worcester Together Fund, and we have never abbreviated that, although maybe a t-shirt sold at Worcester Wears, WTF, it's not what you think, might just raise some money for this. We ended up
I'm
raising,
into that.
I really have too.
Right, how cool would that be? And there is a certain strong Worcester element that would probably purchase such a shirt because it would be so Worcester. We raised $10 million and have awarded it to more than 150 different organizations for immediate needs, for a great summer, for recovery funding. And it's lifted up lives. It's the same thing that Seltzer Time is doing with this podcast. And
at a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
If you make somebody feel better, you're lifting up a life. And especially the last 6 months where people are isolated, that they can go to a podcast and learn and enjoy and feel good and laugh and smile, or perhaps get outraged. That's all. That's good mental health.
Yeah.
That's counseling.
That's a good point.
So you guys, the Worcester Together Fund, I mean, just to name off some of the fantastic projects, you guys were, helpers of the BLM, the Black Lives Matter mural. You had the mural up at Kennedy Health Center, the Together mural that you kind of started to push that in the right direction. Please help me. Like, you guys did so much this summer. It's hard to keep track of everything.
I made up a list. I made up a list of one words that need then a little showers, meals, childcare, beds, summer, and hot spots. And each of those you can imagine, but showers. What did we need to do with showers? The visionary leaders of this city recognized that our homeless population are in congregate shelter housing, bunk beds close together, and totally appropriate, unless in a time of a pandemic. And so that we wouldn't have one person get COVID-19 and it would go through our entire homeless population. That would be tragic for our city and for people who happen to be homeless. Emergency temporary shelters were set up. St. John's Church, Vocational High School, North High School, and maybe one other place. But in order to have a certificate of occupancy, we needed to have temporary showers set up because people were staying there. So we provided the temporary shelters, temporary showers, and separated the people out. The number that I've heard is about 30% of the homeless population did contract the virus, but 30% compared to 100%, I'm thinking we're 70% successful.
I was going to say, I hear 70% that didn't catch it.
For sure.
Right. And exactly. And that also prevented it from spreading into other areas in the city. Hot meals. The brilliance of Casey Burns from the Coalition for a Healthy Greater Worcester, from Casey at Maine South CDC, of Emily Swallick at Family Resource Center, of Gina Platanino. They quickly discovered, we learned, that some families were in quarantine because somebody was COVID-19 positive, but they didn't need the hospital, but they needed to stay in shelter. And if they were a single parent, or if they had 3 or 4 kids, how are they getting hot and nutritious meals? So Worcester Together Fund, and then followed by Worcester Community Action Council. We granted funds, so the Hot Meals Delivery Program was born. And more than 5,000 meals have been purchased in Maine South from culturally appropriate restaurants, helping the economy, and then delivered to families.
That's awesome.
Like I can't even tell you how excited I am to still think, and that's still going on. And we're now trying to find ways to expand it, which is really cool.
So that's helping restaurants. That's helping people. That's a win-win-win-win-win, Tim.
Oh, it's a grand slam times 3. It's just so cool.
It's brilliant.
So cool. And
I love that idea.
Appropriate meals. Yeah. And I've met some of the people that I never had the opportunity. And I like being what I call a street philanthropist. I don't want to be in an office building and not get to know people. I want to be walking on the streets and know who the participants and who the agencies and who the businesses are. I've met some of the greatest people who have always been doing great work. I just didn't have the occasion to get to know them. And now I do. And even though these calls that I have with them, or that we have, not just me, I've never met them in person, never shaken their hand or given them a high five or a hug, but I feel as close to these people. I've already said, when we have the vaccine, when this is all over, similar to the block party that Powell was invited to at Great Brook Valley with the great Jason Naylor mural, the heart-breathing dragon, I want us to have a party of everybody who's been involved. You know, how great would that be? Just a celebration to say, I have loved working with you.
Yeah.
I want that to happen.
Yeah, it would be a victory, like a victory dance,
right.
Basically.
And everybody would have to get. So I am. This was really cool. How beautiful. How elegant. It is my favorite T-shirt of all time. It says exactly who we are. We are Worcester, and we are together. And that's so Worcester, right? The artist of this T-shirt is brilliant.
He's okay.
He's brilliant. Beds. We had another group of people who were part of this Worcester Together response team. We had Nikki Bell from Living in Freedom Together. We had Robin Kennedy from the YWCA. We had the leaders, Stephanie Page, I believe, from Abby's House. We had so many people, and we found that women weren't going to the temporary shelters. So they created a women's only shelter so that women wouldn't suffer any PTSD or any traumatic response because perhaps they've had abuse in their previous histories. So we provided
comfortable space,
beds, and then they partnered within 72 hours. Ewing had come forward and said, we have space, we had money. They were able to get it set up, and then Open Sky provided counseling services. And if I have the number correctly, 31 of 36 women over the course of 9 weeks are now in permanent supportive housing or in treatment programs. That's like 86%.
Hell yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's awesome.
And that's this city. That's our city doing it right. We are the heart of the Commonwealth. We were very scared. Kids stopped going to school on Friday, March 13th.
Yeah.
And I don't care. And we have a school system that cares about our kids, no question. But nobody was ready. The kids weren't, the adults weren't, the teachers weren't for remote learning. And we were very scared that, my gosh, if we go through the whole summer, it's going to be 26 weeks. The kids haven't been out and running around. Worcester Together, the United Way, Greater Worcester Community Foundation, more than $1 million put into the summer for places like Mission E4, the Ecotarium, Main Idea, the YW, the YM, Boys and Girls Club, Guild of St. Agnes. It wasn't the same summer that we've had in the past with Rec Worcester, but we had great people. And if I'm not mistaken, not only was every slot filled, 0 cases of COVID-19 transmitted through our summer. 100% success. And then hotspots. Some people probably get really excited about technology. I just want it to work. We discovered that some families didn't have access to the internet. So if they wanted their kids to be in school and it was all remote, they couldn't do it. And again, a partnership. And that's the whole key. People came together. Money that was remaining from bus transportation that wasn't used. UMass Medical School, God bless them. And our Worcester Together Fund, 5,000 hotspots, 5,000 were purchased and distributed so that every child could have access. Now,
Wow.
we know that's not a permanent solution to municipal broadband, and we worked with the Worcester Regional Research Bureau and their brilliant Tom Quinn and Paul Matthews, who would be a great program, I might add, to talk about all that the Research Bureau is doing. But we've done it. Every single issue, we found ways to find solutions by working together and by having this fund that could fund those solutions. My greatest fear is when this is all over, it's going to be a little bit boring to go back to regular work. We were all on like Star Wars, where all of a sudden we go into hyperspace. But
that's a very good point.
I have never been in a place like Worcester, Massachusetts, and the cooperation and the compassion of the people together is, the cooperation is 90% and the compassion is 90%. And how can you have something that adds up to more than 100%? We do in Worcester. And I'm
magical place.
That's my story.
That's, oh my God, so well said.
So it's been good.
Thank you to everybody that supported the Worcester Together Fund. Yeah, all those people that you just rattled off, like it just shows how much it takes. How it takes a lot of people. It takes a lot of people making effort. But again, it's not impossible. And with a little bit of organization and collaboration, really cool stuff can happen.
Well, and Travis, you earlier mentioned, and if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be a really cool ad on the back of Pulse magazine, right outside of the Edward M. Kennedy Community Health Center, in the middle of this pandemic, in May, while people were sheltering and quarantining.
Right, and the scariest part.
2 artists came out, socially distanced, and created a mural that speaks again together. And it's, if you haven't been over to see it, and so all of your podcast listeners and watchers, drive over to Great Brook Valley, look at, and there are actually now 2 murals in the Edward M. Kennedy parking lot, and then drive 4. Oh, of course.
Because there's the Jason Naylor one that's already there. The, oh my God.
Wonderful woman.
I can't think of her name.
I can see her. She's painted on a skateboard.
Yeah, she was so cool. She literally, she rode her skateboard and did out her lines while riding on the skateboard. Oh my God, what is her name? But yes, so she has a mural over there, as well as Ryan Gardell and
is it Lexi?
Isabella Ewing.
Oh, okay.
Isabella Ewing. Anyway, yeah, it's like it's a woman's face and a lion's head.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And Jason Naylor, and I follow. 10 years ago, I didn't know any art for public artists. And I love putting it that way. All of what Powell has done is making sure that art is everywhere and for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And I'll admit, if I have a chance to go to Paris or Italy or Spain to the Prado and see a Goya or a Rembrandt, I'll do it, no question. But the idea that you can come to Worcester and you can walk around Elm Park School, or you can go to Great Brook Valley, or you can come around and walk through downtown and see artists from 5 different continents who Powell Worcester brought here, or the Black Lives Matter mural, 16 local artists who
came together.
And as young as one was, if I'm not mistaken, a high school student who designed and created and elaborated on one letter of Black Lives Matter, our mural. And there are lots of Black Lives Matter murals all over America right now. Our mural in Worcester is the most distinctive, innovative, and connected to the community of any that I've seen.
Yeah, it's definitely more unique. It took a lot of individuality to make that come together. And I think it's a beautiful representation of like the cultural fabric that we have here in our city. And if you look at the whole thing and take the whole piece in together, it's one of the things that like each image is strong on its own, but it's something that's stronger when presented together because it's in its true form that it's like the true power shows. Also, just wanted to give a shout out to Mercabelli and Brandalism because those are the artists that did the Together mural that we were talking about out in Edward M. Kennedy Health Center. And yes, please, for anybody that hasn't gone through Great Brook Valley, definitely go check out their 4 murals over there. Artists by Jex Lillipore, Angoria and M. Tony Peralta, and then Jason Naylor is the one we keep talking about. And Tim and I had the pleasure of being invited out there along with a bunch of other people from the Powwow Worcester committee to be part of their block party last summer. And to this day, I'm getting myself a little just beclumped thinking about it. It was the most palpable and strongest feeling of like, we've done something that matters. We've done something that has impact and you can truly visualize it. And it really wasn't about like us shaking our hands. No, it was just, I got sheer enjoyment out of watching the people exist and live and celebrate their lives in front of this mural. And it became part of their story and it became part of their home. And that to me is what, like, that was the mission successful that year, was like, these people are now a little more proud of the place that they belong. And that's cool. There's just no two ways about it.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So, but that was just one instance. The night that, was it Thumbs who was projecting up on?
Yeah.
I went out there and how great is it to say at 8:30, I'm heading out to Great Brook Valley to see some art. You know, who says that about anywhere? But we in Worcester said it about Great Brook Valley, which is perfect. And there is Thumbs projecting up on a wall, and he is surrounded 15 kids. And every one of those youngsters believes that not only did they help design, but that they too are artists. And they are.
Yeah.
And that, again, talk about lifting up lives. Just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Another special moment. And it didn't take much in terms, it took some power and it took a computer and it took a projector and it took a guy from England, but it doesn't have to be. But it just, I loved the fact that some of those kids hadn't seen that type of technology before. And the fact that we can show them and open their eyes and, you know, maybe we give them a little more understanding of what art can be. You know, he was drawing Simpsons characters. That's silly. And it's very approachable to children, which is perfect for why it worked so well.
Or the other one, the Roberto Clemente triptych.
Oh, that was unbelievable.
Jax is insane.
Unbelievable. But there was a woman watching it being painted. And I went every day to take pictures. And if you remember, they were like plus signs and squares. And I'm thinking, I don't get it. I don't know how it's going to come out. And it's gorgeous. And she and I started talking. And she said, I'm from the same town. And she's wearing a Yankees hat. And I said, really? A Yankees hat? Great Brook Valley? Come on. And she said, huge Roberto Clemente fan. Okay, right there with you. And the art and baseball and people, it united people. And it's just great. It's just great.
And for any of our listeners that don't think Tim walks the walk, we were out there getting walls prepared right before Lillipore painted her wall. And Mr. Garvin was up in a lift with a roller, huffing and puffing up there with us, getting that wall painted white.
Well, you know, yeah.
Let's talk more rock. That's just, I'm emphasizing that.
No, but it's fun to deliver a check, but it's also fun to actually do the work. So another one of every one of our partners is my favorite partner. Let's just, I'll start out by saying that. But one of them.
That's like me with a band.
Yes.
One of them is this, working for Worcester, 8 years going into its 9th year, 2 rising juniors in a dorm room in Worcester at the College of the Holy Cross had this idea that they could mobilize the college community and build recreational playgrounds and spaces for kids. And they have. And I got to know them early on, and we made, I think, the first $5,000 donation to working for Worcester. But I love the day where we actually build, because I go from being, you know, a suit and tie person. They give me a shovel and they allow me to throw wood chips. And I throw a ton of wood chips. And the next day, I can't move. But my wood chips, my worth is in those playgrounds. And that makes the authenticity of that. But I think that's also indicative of Worcester. The second big funder were 2 of my friends from Unum, Steve Joseph and Chris Collins. And Chris is of counsel at Myrick O'Connell. And he's out there mixing cement, which is not necessarily a fun job. But that cement is holding those playgrounds up. And nobody's ever going to say, oh my gosh, that's really great cement in that hole. But that's what Chris and Steve have done. And so here we are, you know, 3 guys in our 60s. We're out there working with a bunch of college kids and loving every second of it. And that's
actually
what we
doing
do.
impact. Yeah.
Yeah, that's impact.
It's important. That's special. If
So
the
you
whole
said you
world
wanna
worked that way.
You want to go to more rock and roll? Travis, I want to hear where you're going. Or Ricky, where are you going with this?
Oh, Ricky was saying how every band's his favorite.
Oh yeah. It's funny. One of my favorite things about popping on Facebook is, Tim, whenever you post something about Bruce Springsteen, it's always unbelievably passionate. And I like can't wait to just like start reading it. It's the best.
You were very kind. So, but there's a story there. 1975. You guys weren't even born.
10 years. 10 years prior.
I am on a 1-week internship in Washington with a bunch of high school juniors, and it was fascinating. It was sponsored by a senator from Connecticut whose name was Lowell Weicker, who is a maverick Republican. And the first day we get down there, and we're all wearing, the only time I ever wore a suit in high school, and we're in one of the Senate office buildings. And Lowell Weicker says, I want to introduce you to my best friend in the Senate. He's a senator from Delaware who's a Democrat. And we're all, your best friend, you're a Republican and your best friend is a Democrat. And it's Joe Biden. So yes, I met Joe Biden in 1975, which was, and Joe doesn't remember me. So, it's okay.
He's met a lot of people since then.
Yeah. But the second night we were there, the program directors come, and there are 50 of us from all over the state we were in, Connecticut, who said, we have tickets to see a concert. Who is it? In 1975, and it's this guy named Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
And we had no idea. But what else we were going to do? So we went out, and it's at a small place, probably 2,000 seat open air auditorium called the Carter Barron Amphitheater. And this guy comes out. He's got a scrawny beard. He's got thin stovepipe black jeans. I think he's wearing Chuck Taylor Converse high tops. And he opens and he sings a song, and it's just Springsteen's voice. And his voice is compelling, as you know. But a cappella, I don't really know. And then the band comes on behind him, and we have the wall of sound. And if you ever want to talk about what collaboration looks like, the E Street Band is the epitome of collaboration. Everybody's doing their own thing, but it melds into this beat. And for 2 hours, I didn't sit down. My hands got sore from clapping. I was offbeat for 2 hours. I didn't know a single song. I'm trying to sing along. How can you sing along to a song you don't know the lyrics to? But I'm trying. We get back to Connecticut, and I go down to the local record store, because that's what you did, the record store.
Of course.
And he's got 2 albums. One is called Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. They're out of it because they never carried it. And the other is called The Wild, the Innocent, and the East Street Shuffle. And I buy it, and I throw it on, and it opens with the East Street Shuffle, which is just a swaggering, horns wagging, great song. And side 2, back because records had 2 sides, is a suite of 3 songs: Incident on 57th Street, New York City Serenade, and Rosalita. And in my high school year, that was those 3 songs. They went together. You couldn't not. And then, Born to Run comes out, and everybody's like, oh, who is this guy? And it's like, nah, I knew about him 3 months ago.
I've been there. You guys are late.
Yeah, I've been there. Born to Run, that's the new stuff. You need to go into the deep stuff.
There you go.
Did you ever get that first album? Did you ever get your hands on that first?
And it's all great. And then, so I'm going to college here in Worcester, and took a few years off. And it's 1984, and Springsteen is playing what was then, it wasn't the DCU, it was the Centrum.
The Centrum, yeah.
The Centrum. And so he's staying in the hotel that's now Mass College of Pharmacy and Health Science. And I meet him coming out of the hotel. And he's just the nicest guy, and he's just a regular guy, and he's walking down the street to do his sound check at the Centrum. Just like, okay. So
that's awesome.
And yeah, and we didn't have cell phones to take selfies, but I took a picture and I got an autograph. And
that's so awesome.
Bruce
is one of the
Worcester and me. That's it.
That's amazing. Bruce Springsteen's one of the only people I would ever get not stage fright, but
starstruck.
Starstruck, yeah. He's probably one of 4 people I'd be nervous to talk to.
Well, Ricky, so same thing. but different story. 1978, I'm working as many hours as I can. I'm 20 years old, so you know how old I am. And the Rolling Stones put out a deep, soulful disco Some Girls.
Yeah.
But the song Miss You has just the most amazing beat. It just does. And they're playing a small show in New York City at a place called the Palladium.
Yeah.
Probably a 3,000-seater maybe. And they were so ostentatious. There was no merch for sale, no Rolling Stones, just T-shirts that said, "They're here." That's all it said.
That's so cool.
I go in. I don't have a ticket. I spend more than I've ever spent on a ticket. I spend $25. And I'm in the last row of the orchestra, 1978. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is really cool. I'm going to see the Stones. I'm literally 25 rows away. It's not going to be better than this. I don't care how much they play. And all of a sudden I notice the president of, probably Atlantic Records, a guy named Amit Erdogan,
Oh, yeah.
walks by me. And I'm thinking, oh my God. And he's in it. Who goes to a Rolling Stones concert wearing a suit and tie, a tailored, expensive suit? So I think when I see him walk back, I'm going to say, "Mr. Erdogan, da-da-da-da-da-da." So I'm looking to see who's going by. And all of a sudden, Todd Rundgren walks by me. That's pretty cool. John Belushi walks by me. That's pretty cool.
Oh.
And then this very boyish face with a woman with blonde hair. And I stand up and I point at him. He reaches in, he shakes my hand and he said, "You got it, mate." And then he walks on, speechless, didn't say a word. And I sit down and the people around me, "Is that Paul McCartney?" That was Paul McCartney. And whether you liked Wings or not, that you get to meet one of the Beatles is just like, yeah. And that I can, and a true story, I can't make that stuff up. But that I met one of the Beatles at a Rolling Stones show is just like, how cool
In
is
passing.
That is the coolest thing I've
Yeah.
ever heard in my life.
Yeah. No, I don't know about that. Wearing a Worcester Wears T-shirt and going to the dive bar and sitting with one of the artists from Pow Wow. That's pretty cool.
That is
too.
very cool. That is very cool.
Yeah, but not as cool as randomly meeting. I mean, Jim Belushi, seeing him walk, jeez.
But
What a legendary
but-
show.
Yeah, well, because again, and the Rolling Stones could do it. They're here. They could be, and they earned being so ostentatious that the glitter crowd of New York City was going to show up at their concert. Of course.
What's the biggest show you've seen in Worcester, Tim? Was it the Bruce Springsteen one? Or maybe not biggest,
No.
but most impactful.
1984, winter, an Irish band called U2. And they are playing a six concerts because they put out War, which was their third album, in the spring, and they're putting out a live album, live at Red Rocks, which is not quite a full LP long player, but it's bigger than an EP, an extended play. And so they're opening, and then they're playing Radio City Music Hall in New York City. So my brother, who is going to Brown, he drives over, and because we learned where all the musicians stay, we meet Bono and the Edge coming out of the same hotel, which was pretty cool, and we see U2 at the Centrum, and it is a kick butt rock and roll, straight hard at you, political music that you could get up and dance to. Sunday Bloody Sunday, like the opening Machine Gun beat of Larry Mullen, and the Edge just playing the same. And I can't play guitar, but I could probably play that if he showed me the 3 notes to play. It was extraordinary. It was extraordinary. And then we drove down to New York City the next day and bought scalp tickets and saw them at Radio City Music Hall because we had to.
Because why not?
That's so awesome.
No, but that isn't that what life is, though? Finding something that you love and not being reckless, but going for it and believing that it's possible.
Having adventures.
And I'm serious. Whether you do it with art or whether you do it with Jessica Walsh opening a store called Worcester Wears that every single person I know to shops at, or if people in this podcast haven't been there, they should. Because if you have a place in your heart for Worcester, you have to
Agreed.
Even if it's, little things like this or, things like this. You just have to.
Well said.
So that's what Worcester is.
Yeah,
and
it's a heck of a place.
So I got called by a person doing a research project on some social movement stuff. And this young researcher, literally at 3:00 today, so probably about an hour ago, and said, yeah, I've heard some stuff, da-da-da. Now, where are you again? I said, I'm in the greatest city in America. She said, what city is that? I said, Worcester, Massachusetts. And, there was a pause. And then it was, well, why do you consider it the greatest city in America? And it's like what we've talked about before. This incredible amount of compassion and this incredible amount of cooperation, where we all have our egos. We do. But we found ways to put the greater good ahead of our egos. I don't know any place that happens.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very, very, very good point, actually.
I mean, and that's really, that right there is why we're doing so well. And it's a nice reminder that we all should keep the eye on the prize and not our own prize.
Right. Totally right. And I'd love to think that's what Worcester Together in 6 months in this global pandemic. So I was very fortunate when I was growing up. My dad worked for IBM. And, the joke was IBM stands for I've been moved. And every 3 years we moved, right? But IBM really stands for International Business Machines. And IBM was a family. It was a big family. It was a capitalistic business, but it was a family. And their mantra was, we're going to treat our employees as well as we want our employees to treat our customers. Brilliant. That's awesome. My dad comes home. We're living in New Jersey. I'm 5 at the time. And we're living in northern New Jersey, but both of my parents grew up in the Philadelphia area. And my dad says, IBM has offered me an opportunity. We would have to move. Where would we have to move? We'd have to move to Lebanon. And my mom, growing up in Philadelphia, thought, Lebanon, PA, it's a beautiful country. But it was the other Lebanon.
The country of Lebanon.
So, the country of Lebanon. And again, here we are in Worcester with this deep, beautiful Lebanese roots here. Who doesn't like Ed Hyder's Mediterranean Market? It's like
best place ever.
Right.
If you want the best smelling
place, the best city
in
America, of course. So we move and we live in Beirut for 3 years.
That's so cool.
My heart is full of the Beirut that I grew up in because it was as much a time in my life as a place. So in early August 4th, I'm sure you saw the videos of what's now called the Beirut Blast. And first you see this unbelievable fire and you think that's awful and you don't quite know. And then you see this horrific explosion. And I'm still friends with a few people in Beirut. I follow one amazing political commentator, Sarah El Yafa, who got her master's in public administration at a school to the east of Worcester called Harvard.
Some little rinky-dink school.
But I'm following, and I literally was getting up at 2:00 at night to see her live broadcasts. They would give her 10 minutes on CNN World News, and it was 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in Beirut, or it was in the morning, and it was 2 a.m. But after about 2 weeks, I just had this unbelievable, heartfelt yearning to say, I wish I could get on a plane and go and help, and physically help. And I'm not better than anyone. Please don't misunderstand me. But there were teams that went from Argentina with rescue dogs that were digging out to see if there were any more survivors. And the totality of the blast was awful. The actual death count was still tragic, but shockingly low. But as I was talking with my wife about it, and I didn't go, she said, geez, what you've done, and I don't mean me, what we have done in Worcester with this Worcester Together element, that's what Beirut needs. And I thought, that's exactly what Beirut needs. But there's a difference. And the great difference is in Worcester, we have people who want to work together. And in Beirut, there are centuries of not trusting others because of religion or neighborhood or block or for whatever reason. And just putting it in the context of, I wish that could happen in Beirut, and I pray to God it does, but it did happen here in Worcester. And one of the things we did, my friend Che Anderson, about 3 weeks into this Worcester Together effort, so probably the first or second week of April, we realized it was extraordinary. It was special. The number of people who were involved, not just the donors, the partners, the people who were on calls, the people who were donating their time. Legendary legacies. If you haven't had Ron Waddell on, have him on. He's just,
okay.
I love him. But
I don't think I know who that is.
You will.
I should.
But we reached out to the College of the Holy Cross because we have great contacts there. Jay's a graduate. And we get these two young men, one who's a senior in his last semester, now off campus, and the other who's now a rising senior. And they join us for every meeting we have. And they're writing the narrative history. One, so that we can have a history, which is pretty cool, but also so that they can create the playbook of how this happened. And if something like this happens anywhere else, here's a case study of what are the ingredients to put together that made it happen. Desire, trust, relationships, cooperation, collaboration, capital and financing. And in Worcester, we had it. And we still have it. It's an extraordinary place. And some
Perfect
people, if they
storm of
haven't,
positivity.
right, exactly. If they haven't ever come here, they might not know it. But if they come and if they open themselves to it, people leave who want to come back because of what exists here.
That's a really good point.
Pretty incredible place.
Yeah, filled with pretty incredible people.
Well, that's exactly.
Tim, if anybody is curious about the mission of the United Way, they want to reach out to support, how do they go about educating themselves? I'm sure there's a website somewhere.
There is absolutely a website. And amazingly, it starts with 3 W's. Can you believe it?
Since when?
No way.
I have just learned, and this is how long it takes sometimes for people my age. That stands for World Wide Web. Did you guys know that? Unbelievable.
Who knew?
So,
I'm about to blow your mind, Tim. You don't even have to add it most times anymore.
Yeah. www.unitedwaycm. The CM stands for Central Massachusetts.org. You can find a lot on our website, where all the grants went, who our board members are, who our staff members are. If you want to volunteer, if you're an agency and you have a volunteer project that you want to get volunteers on, you can register your project. If you want to be involved with our women's initiative, it is a great repository of information, almost too much. And then similar to what you guys do, when we hear of good and important things, for the last 6 weeks, thanks to our city and our leadership, thanks to our medical, we have 2 great hospitals and 2 family health centers. Thanks to Governor Baker having money and Lieutenant Governor Polito, we have pop-up testing sites, right? So that you almost have to work not to be able to get tested to find out if you're COVID-19.
Yeah.
Right. But in Worcester, rather than it just being a COVID testing site, we've added flu shots. Now, with your insurance card, because your insurance will probably cover the cost of that, if you're a child in Worcester Public Schools, you can get your flu shot for free. We have had pop-up census forms so that you can fill out your census. And I believe we have pop-up voter registration. So it's like one-stop shopping of everything that's good. A perfect storm of positivity. So we take every time we find out about one of those COVID testing sites, we put that on our website. And then like seltzertime and like Worcester Wares or the Dive Bar or all the other great places, we're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. I don't know if we have a TikTok site, and I think they're still up, but I'm not sure.
You got to get a TikTok.
Well, yeah. Or, I'm hoping somebody will take 10 seconds of what we talked about and create a TikTok and throw it up on one of our sites.
I'm sure we can make that happen.
We could probably make that happen.
Although I would rather have a TikTok of Tim dancing to some.
I think I've danced without moving my chair. Let's be honest here.
But to a Bruce Springsteen song.
Yeah,
that TikTok would have longer legs, we'll call it.
Yeah. It gets a little anthematic and there's a little power surge in it. I'm not sure it's good dancing.
It's never good dancing, but it's fitting. Tim, Worcester is lucky to have people like you involved. And
very much so.
It is a pleasure to know you as a person. I always get extremely excited when I see Tim out and about in the community. There are very few people that put an ask out, and I rearrange my schedule to figure out how to help draw 100 hearts out on City Hall Common.
How cool was that?
That was so fun.
And we will do that again in other ways when we're allowed to.
Yeah, well said. So for anybody, go check out unitedwaycm.com. Go
.org.
learn. I'm sorry, .org. Thank you,
That's
Tim.
okay.
Go learn what your local United Way is doing for your community, and go be a part of Worcester, people.
Or not go. Come be part of Worcester, right?
There you go.
Watch Seltzer Time every week, because you're going to learn and you're going to get excited and you're going to get inspired.
That's a lot of love right here. Awesome.
That's the TikTok right there. I've just done your ad.
Done.
And done. You're the best, Tim.
Tim, thank you so much.
This was great. I look forward to the day where we are probably at the Jason Naylor mural, and we're part of a block party, and we're going to do a triple high five.
You know
I'm into it.
Okay.
While opening a can of seltzer.
Yeah, well, I'm not as good with the one finger. I go with the stability and I pop the top. I admit it.
Right.
I'll work on it.
I'm going to teach like a master class on how to do it with one hand.
Welcome.
All good.
This is Ricky Nelson. Welcome to my master class. Oh my God. That'd be insane. Awesome. All right. Well,
Great.
we probably stopped it somewhere in there. So we're good. Thank you so much, Tim.
Cool. So that was amazing. Not that we thought that it wasn't going to be, but Tim, I mean, when Travis and I first started talking about having guests on the show, one of the probably first 2 or 3 names that came out of your mouth was Tim Garvin. I know Tim, but not super, super well. But it made a lot of sense. Like you want to raise up the people of Worcester, but like, that's what Tim does.
Yeah.
Both professionally and personally. And that's all he is like, I mean, what did we keep saying? Like a tornado of positivity or something?
A perfect storm of positivity. But but I think you're right. He is a tornado of positivity because he just comes sweeping in and makes your day better.
Yeah. Like that was just such an enjoyable interview. And to get to hear, I mean, I love talking about Worcester, but the only thing I think I like talking about more is rock and roll. So
heck yeah.
Hearing Tim explain kind of his backstory with like how he fell in love with Bruce Springsteen and like that stuff I could listen to all day long. He got to meet freaking Paul McCartney at a Stones show. That's so cool.
That's rock star status. I love so I've had the pleasure of knowing Tim for a few years now, but I didn't actually know what Tim did for a few years. And he is so humble. I aspire to be his level of humble, where it really isn't about ego. It's really about the work. And it doesn't matter who did it. It's about, look at this amazing work that's being done. Yeah. And he always makes sure to share the spotlight. He always makes sure to share the accolades. And the world would be a better place if we all acted more like Tim Garvin and worried about how we can help and not necessarily how it would help us.
Yeah, I couldn't agree anymore. He's
a phenom. And he will keep telling me, I'm sure even now as he's listening to this, if he even listens to his own interview, because I'm guessing he didn't, he's sitting there being like, guys, stop saying all that crap about me. Tim, I love you, buddy. You're fantastic.
Yeah, that was a very, 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 very cool interview.
Cool. Well, is it about that time?
About that time.
Take it away, Solon.
When you hit them with those stones, ow! Gotta slap them with those pokes. Oh, yeah. Stokes and pokes.
All right. Well, I'll start with some pokes because we keep claiming that we're not a political podcast, but in the year of 2020, how can you help but find yourself wrapped up in some type of political nonsense? I mentioned how we went to the woods with a bunch of my friends, and one of the things I liked about that was that we can check our politics. I'm not going to vote the same way like a lot of these gun-toting friends of mine like to spend some time in the woods and wear a lot of camouflage. We're not going to vote the same way, and I get that. But we can check those kind of like things at the entrance of the forest and just have a conversation as humans. And all those people are all about helping our community. Like in their own way, they help their communities. And with that help is where that money usually comes from is taxes. And we as American citizens should feel obliged and almost like it should feel like a privilege to pay taxes, to contribute some of our wealth and some of our hard work towards the betterment of our community, to the safer roads, to better schools, to literally all this stuff is because of taxes. And you have a leader of our I'm trying very hard not to curse. We have the leader of our country who New York Times released yesterday that in 2016 and 2017, it looks like they paid around $750 in taxes to the, not state taxes, but the federal taxes.
Federal, yeah.
Which AOC put it beautifully that she spent more as a bartender in yearly taxes working in New York City.
Yep.
We're not a political show, but we are a show about people. And this stuff is not about people. This current administration is not about people. It's about a certain ilk of people, but it's not about us. And I hope as a listener of this show, you understand this. And there is really no convincing here. But if there is some convincing needed, I mean, don't you care? Don't you care about like this dude doesn't. It's clear he doesn't. He cares about money and he cares about his own embetterment. Come join the rest of us that just care about people and want to raise up everything.
I wish that it was that easy.
Yeah, I know.
There is no way. I mean,
yeah, I know.
Like I read it. I was at my parents' house last night when the story broke. I was just like, whoa. And I told my dad. He was just like, yeah, nothing's surprising anymore. Like everybody, we've known that he doesn't pay taxes. We've known that he's really $1 billion in debt. Yeah, like it doesn't matter. Like nothing matters anymore because the same people who voted for him are going to vote for him again in 2 months or whatever because he's going to spout out a bunch of crap and they're going to fall for it. It's just like it doesn't. He was all the horrible things that he actually is before he got elected, and it didn't matter then, and it's not going to matter now. As like sad as that is, I hope that I'm wrong. I mean, I know I'm not wrong. People will vote for him. Of course, there's very clear evidence that people are stupid. Hopefully there's more smart people in the world, in the country. I mean, somebody also did the math that he said he could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and still not lose voters. But if he sat there and shot somebody every 5 minutes or something like that through his entire presidency, he'd still kill less people than his response to COVID-19. So that's kind of wild. Fun facts. Hey, I am stoked. And when you have information and news like that, you need an escape like what I'm stoked about. I was told that Worcester is going to have 15 dispensaries by the time we're done. And that blew my mind. And I'm now starting to like see and get to experience some of those new places opening up. Big fan of Good Chemistry. I've been there a few times and they're a big supporter of Powwow. So of course we got to like them. Nature's Remedy out in Millbury has been fantastic, but a new one opened up for not retail, non-medical, recreational use. It's called Resonate. It's minutes from my house. And that's what I love. Like, I love that I have options within 10 minutes of my house. I have 3 different options. So I can literally compare shop. Like, oh, who has the strand that I'm looking for? And like, I've dreamt of purchasing cannabis in this way, in this like very, not adult, but like this very like, this is not just some dude opening up his trench coat being like, what you want? Like this is, these are people treating it very seriously, discussing like, I don't know. I get so excited and I want to curse. That's really why I keep pausing and trying to think of new words. It's just so freaking cool. Like I can go in and have an adult conversation with somebody about an adult use item. I don't know. Yeah. I'm pumped. Pumped. So, I'm pumped for you. Thanks, Ricky. I'm excited to try these places as well. I've never been into a dispensary. I hadn't. And now like, even still, this freelance lifestyle doesn't allow me to pay the full pricing all the time. Yeah. But with more competition, hopefully the pricing comes down
and it's a nice little treat.
Yeah. There you go.
That's what I got. What do you got for us, bud?
Cool. All right. Well, before I get into my Stokes and Pokes, this is what my like original Stoke was going to be. It's this guy.
He's amazing. I don't know why he took the internet by storm, but he did.
Because he is exactly what we needed. Like, normally when those types of videos go live, I think it's great. I think it's hilarious. It's my favorite thing about the internet and social media and how all that works. But this guy is different. I don't know if you've gone back to look at like his TikToks before that one.
I've only seen that one.
He's awesome. He's just this like warehouse worker who like straight up does all the TikTok dances and like he just has fun. You can tell that he doesn't give a frig what anybody is talking about him. Like he's just the man. And I've seen a bunch of different, that thing's been shared. Fleetwood Mac shared it. Like everybody has shared that video as they should. It's unbelievably perfect. But like, it's the first time I've ever seen one of those things that's gone super viral where like when people are like, that's a vibe. But the minute I saw that video, like that's the only thing you can say about it. It's
Right.
like, that's a vibe. I want to be 43 years old, just skating down the highway and ripping cranberry juice, singing Fleetwood Mac.
From the bottle.
It's the coolest video that has ever come out of the internet ever. Because there's no like, it's so accessible to everybody. I think it's the first video I've ever seen that's gone that viral where it's just everybody has a piece of that video. He's not like drinking alcohol. He's not doing drugs. there's no swears. There's no violent. There's nothing. It is a grown ass man skateboarding, which is awesome. Drinking cranberry juice out of the bottle, which is the only move now, and singing Fleetwood effing Mac. Like, I can't. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened.
I watched it and like I was asking myself, like, why is this becoming so popular? But just like, what was it? Corona, find your beach kind of move. Like this dude, we all yearn to have that type of vibe where we doesn't feel like we have it. Yeah.
Pure
Wonderful
freedom.
way. Yes. Yep. Stress-free rolling.
Yeah. That dude has nothing to prove to anybody. That's how you do it. Like that right there, that's cool. It wouldn't have been cool if he was like literally, it probably wouldn't have been cool if he was singing any other song. It has to be that song in that setting. Everything about it is just unbelievably beautiful.
It wouldn't have been that cool even if he tried hard and did a dance. No, it was because it felt effortless.
Yeah.
Just him.
That's just him living his life. Oh, I couldn't be more like it just. And like, I don't know. So his Twitter, that was on his Twitter, but even like in the last couple of days, like you would think that a person in that situation where you now are the most shared video of, the last couple of days, you probably would try to do like, remember that stupid bagel guy from Long Island? The dude who got in like the screaming match at the deli about bagels. He was just a bit horrible.
I remember the Cash Me Outside girl ended up trying to like trademark her slogan and took it way too.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, except she like did have songs and stuff that were horrible. But like this bagel guy, he's just a loudmouth weirdo who, as soon as that video went viral for the absolute opposite reasons of this one. That one went viral because this guy was being a horrible person. And he got put in his place.
Yeah.
So, but then he was like trying to sell appearances and trying to sell cameos and trying to sell merch and like all this crap. This dude couldn't be he could be a horrible person. Who knows? But he couldn't have given off a more like positive thing. And instead of trying to like cater what he's done in the last couple of days, like on social media to that, or to like, making merch or whatever, he's still tweeting about like bongs and like all kinds of stuff. Like he's just this guy. He's the best.
So that wasn't your Stoke or
that
Poke.
wasn't even my Stoke. No, that was gonna be my Stoke. And then I think when you went to go grab a seltzer, I just happened to pop on Twitter and somebody had reposted it, and I was like, I can't not talk about this.
No, we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
The other thing,
also,
real quick, is that I was stoked that the world has also, or at least the rest of America and Twitter has seen the brilliance that is that giant skeleton.
I need to talk to you about that. Yeah, it's gone. That thing is everywhere.
I mean, of course, it's insane to see it in person, but I love to see that tons of other Halloween fans are starting to pick it up and put it in their yards.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. All right, so my Stoke is last week I started working at New Tradition.
Hey-o.
So I'm back in the slinging beverages game. I mean, I'm only working like 1 or 2 days a week. It's not, I'm not going to be there all the time, but, it was awesome. I mean, again, I have become so super lucky where I get to serve drinks at my favorite place in the city. I got to do it at the Dive, and now I get to do it at New Tradition. It's cool. And it's got a very like dive bar vibe. Everybody I saw last Tuesday, I think was my first day that I worked there. And like every single person that came in, I knew from either Starbucks or the dive bar. So it's kind of cool to like, just kind of like have that experience again. So
did it feel right being behind the bar again? I mean, I know you're a barista and not a full on alcohol for now.
Right? For now. Yeah. Yeah, no, it feels great. When the dive closed, I kind of never wanted to work in that world again because it was just like I was kind of burnt out and like I loved the dive so much. I'm wearing a dive shirt. But I think especially recently I've kind of hit a point where I'm like, all right, like I'm better suited to be interacting with humans. I like get my energy off of that. So plus I just love coffee.
Yeah.
It's great.
You're an energy vampire who loves coffee. I love it.
Energy vampire, yeah. And it's just like I'm either pouring you caffeine or I'm pouring you alcohol. It's a great life. I just want people to be happy.
What do you want? Uppers or downers? I got both.
Yeah. What's up? Usually my body is like a perfect mixture of the two. So not right now. I'm literally just drinking water.
Dude, I went on this whole thing last night about like, how do I have more energy? And like, it was all the things that are like, duh, but it was like eat apples and drink a bunch of water. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I've been slugging water all day. And it helps.
Best.
It helps.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that's my Stoke. Come visit me at New Tradition. I'm sure I'll post when I'm there, when things get a little more like consistent, but I might be there. Well, actually I'll be there tomorrow, but it's not going to matter because this is going to come out. It won't even get posted until I get out of work. So, all right.
Suckers, I'm going to go visit him tomorrow.
You punks. My poke is kind of a positive poke. It's become really hard to figure out what to do on the weekends in Worcester. Like this was a problem before, but then obviously like even without COVID, things kind of flattened out, at least for me. I don't know what everybody else does, but it's become insanely hard to figure out where do I want to get my desserts from on the weekend. Like where do I want to spend my weekend mornings? Because like now Glazy Susan's open and like they're killing it, which is great. And Rain, with Rain Cafe, but then you've got like Mandy over at New Tradition doing Pig Up Bakery. Like she had an Oreo Pop-Tart this weekend and all I wanted to do was go get one. And I just didn't have time.
I didn't know there was Oreo.
Boo. I was so bummed. I wanted it so bad, but that whatever. Shout out Mandy for killing it. Queen's Cups, I haven't been to in a hot minute, but they sent like a little like code thing for my birthday because I'm like on the email list thingy. But like, I need a cupcake, but I don't have time to go. I have to like pick and choose what I'm doing, And then there's a new Crust location, which I've been to a couple times, but it's also like right down the street, which is awesome.
So it's convenient.
Yeah.
And then cut in the places that have been here all along, like Birch Tree and Wooberry and
exactly. There's just so much. Like all I want to do is start a diet and be a healthy, productive human being. And then every couple of weeks, my friends are like, dude, we're going to open this super dope place where you can just like eat sugar and party on caffeine. And I'm like, fine. Okay, I'll wait a second.
Yeah.
Like, God.
Fine. Give me another 7 donuts. I guess
Fine.
I need them.
It was supposed to be the year that I got a 6-pack, but no.
You got a 6-pack of donuts.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. I'm never going to be
and ramen.
hot. Just never going to be hot.
You're hot right now, big guy.
No. No. But yeah, so shout out to all the homies making all the really awesome, really great things. Damn, we almost went the whole episode without swearing, and then I got mad about sugar.
You said you dropped an F-bomb in the beginning, but the listeners heard it covered by can crack.
Did I really?
It was something about the food, and it was too delicious for you to hold back, and we love you for it. That's how we know it was really good.
There you go.
They heard a can crack. They didn't even hear it.
Oh, nice. Good point.
This has been an awesome show.
Yeah, this is fun.
Thank you again for Tim. We need to have Glazy Susan on. They're going to be up on our list. We're going to be talking about them. And
into it.
But until then, find us at seltzertime.com. Find me and the interwebs at Hunchback Travis.
Hey, you can find me at DickChuck77 or Seltzer Time Official. We've got a couple new TikToks up, by the way. I had some fun with one of them the other day. I was laughing. I still laugh. I hate it so much because like I can't do it very well. But when I do them, I literally rewatch the one that I posted like 50 times and laugh because of how stupid they are.
I was doing that with the Biden meme we put up where we had him play which feels like so long ago, but that was just last week.
Dude, yeah. Was it really?
Yeah.
I'm
pretty sure.
It might have been.
Is there anything you want to talk about for this Friday? Anything going on that people should pay attention to?
The Harvey Ball.
Yeah, check out the Harvey Ball, guys. Friday, I think it's open to the public. Powwow Worcester is getting an award. Spoilers.
I've seen some sneak peeks of what it's going to look like, and it came out pretty good. I'm pretty stoked for everybody.
Do you know the Harvey? Like, there's a Smiley song. There's a Worcester Smile song. You people will hear it if they want to hear it.
Oh,
we had to sing it.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know what that is though. That I was not part of that conversation.
Dude, your imitation of the smiley face pin. Anyway, shout out Dale LePage.
Dude, Dale's the best. I saw him a couple weeks ago.
Heck yeah. All right, people. We'll see you next week.
Peace. Peace. Bye.
Love it.
See you guys later. Adios. Ciao.
Arrivederci.